Today we're going to talk about Jean, which is actually pretty exciting for me because it's one of my favorite characters. In Genshin Impact, there are really healers that utilize healing very well or ones that do utility very well, but very rarely do you get a character that's both a healer as well as utility and can actually deal pretty good damage. And I think Jean falls squarely in the center of that category and is extremely versatile no matter what team comp you have. Some of the things she excels at are being able to remove all debuffs on your entire party, being able to heal your entire party regardless of whether or not they are on the field, being able to have a continuous form of healing and a form of burst healing. She also has a pretty decent form of burst damage and kind of a little trick that can enable her to do a really weird continual form of burst damage, which we'll talk about a little later. The bonus she gets for leveling is healing bonus. So it goes from 16.6 to 22.2 from 80 to 90, for instance. And that's actually a pretty good bonus if you're worried about sustained healing, which pairs pretty nicely with the way her talents work. Now we're going to go through her talents, but real quick I want to show you this one, which is the Wind Companion. On hit, Jean's normal attacks have a 50% chance to regenerate HP equal to 15% of Jean's attack for all party members. Basically, every time you hit somebody with a basic attack, you have a coin flip to heal everybody 15% of your total attack. For that reason, you want a sword that has pretty high base attack, and you probably want some attack percentage artifacts if you're trying to do sustained healing. Her abilities are all nice. She has a very nice, well-rounded kit. Her basic attack is a fairly quick 5 consecutive strikes. Her charged attack applies CC by knocking people up as it's a strike up, which is kind of nice as well, so you get a little bit of form of CC there. Now, her elemental skill is really why everyone loves her and is why I love her. It's kind of a Darth Vader grip. It's a swirl, sucks everybody in, kind of a mini Venti alt, and you can move them around so you have control of the people while they're swirled there. You can launch them at the end of it, either launching them straight up so they take fall damage, launching them out of your ultimate so they take the bonus damage, launching them into it, or there's even a cool trick which we'll talk about later. So now I'll look here at the ultimate here. Now her ultimate is two forms, one of which is actually pretty good AoE and Nemo damage. Okay, it's not bad. The other form is that it removes all debuffs from your party, so it strips away elemental, things you may have applied. If you are wet and you're about to get frozen, this would remove that element, for instance, and it would save you that CC from having happen. So that's a pretty nice deal. It also heals for a really big chunk based upon her attack, so you have another reason to build attack percentage on her, and that will also heal people who aren't on the field. So you can use her as a substitute main DPS for when you do not have another person that you can use as main DPS because they're wounded, right? Like if I'm using Dialog and he has 10% HP, I'm going to swap to Jean, use Jean until I have my ultimate up, and then heal, and then I'll swap back to Dialog. You can see how that would work there. And then obviously we have the one we talked about with the healing 50%. And then here we have the Dandelion Breeze, which when she uses her ultimate, she gets 20% back of her energy. Now her constellations are all pretty decent, okay? Now, I think she's perfectly fine at 0 constellations. The first one is kind of nice for her skill because it sucks them in a little bit quicker and increases the damage done by 40%. Now, the damage isn't really the reason you use it. It's mostly for utility, so you don't have to have it. The pulse speed's almost a little nicer in my opinion. Again, I don't think it's required. I think the Constellation 2 is actually really nice, but again, not required, where you get movement and attack speed increased by 15% for 15 seconds when she picks up an orb or a particle, and her elemental skill, her E, will allow her to generate those particles. So basically, you can always keep up your attack speed for everyone in your party all of the time because you can cycle her in for that. The other ones I don't think are required at all. This just reduces a Nemo resistance. These here are the levels for it, and then the final one is actually kind of OP, but you're never really going to get a 6 constellation Jean. The incoming damage is decreased by 35% while you're within your ultimate and upon leaving the ultimate for 10 seconds or for 3 attacks, which that's all great and dandy, but let's be realistic, you aren't going to get C6, so she is 100% usable at C1. Or I should say at C0, actually. C1 would be nice, but C0 completely usable. Okay, I'm going to show you guys probably my favorite trick real quick with her. Here's how it works. So you get your ult, right? You got your ult up, okay? what you do is you grab somebody and you can move them in and out of the alt over and over again, right? So if you have the circle here, I got these guys chasing them, okay, so it's difficult to do here. But I'm going to show you. You can pick somebody up, and let's say the line's right here. You move them back and forth across the alt over and over again. And what will happen is it would just trigger the damage of them going in and out over the alt over and over and over again, which is hilarious because the damage is actually pretty good. It's at least a few thousand, so you can get the combination damage while you're CCing them. It's a really hilarious combo. I can give you a show of what it works. All right, so you got your ult. Use your ult. Okay. Now you got the guy. You move him in and out. You see? Look at that. Oh, that for me is hilarious. Another great thing about her is she's a Nemo based. So you don't really have to worry too often about her not working. A lot of times if you have like a water character or something, you're like, oh, well, it looks like I just can't fight anything near the water, right? Or if you got a fire character, you know, it's not good against fire things. You know, abyss mages are really annoying, yada, yada, yada. But Jean, she does physical damage on top of a Nemo damage. So maybe if I'm fighting the Eye of the Storm, like right here, yeah, it's going to be a little annoying. But in any other scenario, I mean, she's good to go, you know? She does AoE damage, AoE healing, heals people on your party, or even people in co-op that aren't on your party, which is nice too. Does decent damage. And overall, I think Jean is, in my personal opinion, if not the best healer, the best support. Because she has so much utility, and not only the healing, but the debuff removing, good damage. I think she has it all, personally. I think Jean is maybe one of my most favorite characters to play. I think I like DPS characters a little more, like Child, Dialog, even Ningguang. That's why they're in my party currently. But out of supports, it was Chi-Chi. I was using Chi-Chi all the time. And I have a 4 Constellation Chi-Chi, but I find myself wanting to use Jean 9 times out of 10 for almost any given situation. And I find myself in co-op people asking for Jean to be played, which is quite interesting because normally when people are building healers or something, you know, there's not really too much of, hey, what you want to do? You want to do this? You want to do that? But I do see a lot of Jean requests too in the co-op version, and I think that's most likely because you get a very consistent source of healing in co-op. If you're in like a 4-man co-op, right, and there's only one healer, you need somebody who's not a burst healer, somebody who all their healing isn't just, you know, when you get the talisman mark, or like Barbara with her ultimate, you know, or with her passive revive. You want somebody who they're doing damage while they're on the field, and while they're doing damage, they're also healing, and that's Jean in spades. So overall, yeah, Jean's the one for me. Granted, you could switch to a DPS character in situations like this and just end it in 2 seconds, but Jean's a support. For artifacts, I probably want something different than what I got here. You can see I have this hodgepodge Frankenstein build. For her, I think you probably want 2-piece Gladiator, 2-piece of the Anemo one. And what I actually do is I run an Anemo-based goblet. Now, if you don't have any constellations, which is going to be most people who pull Jean, you probably want to go a little bit heavier on the attack percentage based, because 1, you're not going to have any Anemo resistance decrease from some of the higher tier constellations. 2, you're not going to have the 40% bonus from the first constellation, okay? So for that reason, maybe you switch these to attack percentage and really just go with the physical damage, you know, type of build, and use her for more DPS and healing off of her basic attacks than you would the Anemo E and the ultimate damage, okay? But I'm building the 2-piece Gladiator, and I'm going to run the 2-piece Viridescent Veneers, or whatever it's called as well, these pieces here. And the reason I'm going to be running these is because I want the Anemo bonus damage. I'm actually personally going to build her for Anemo bonus damage. I like that she both can heal enough while being built for Anemo. Like, she's overhealing all of my people. I don't have to worry about needing more attack percentage on her currently. Granted, I do have some okay pieces, you know, of equipment on her. Like, I have a good weapon, I have the Quilla Favonia, etc. But other than that, I mean, not all of these are great. This one only has 33 attack. It's not crazy attack on it. This one here is, you know, 10% attack, so that's got attack on it. This one here is a purple that's attack percentage, and then these flat stats are terrible. I actually don't really have the best gear in the world on her. I think this this goblet here is the best piece of gear I have on her. If I could pick, I would have an Anemo damage, Goblet, 2-piece of Viridescent, and 2-piece Gladiators for the attack percentage. If I could go with the helmet, I'd either go attack percentage if you just want more flat healing, or you could go the healing bonus, which is probably actually better for that. Or personally, I still think crit rate, crit damage is very viable options as well. The helmet I have on here is attack percentage with crit rate, crit damage, and flat attack, and that's just what I happen to have for her. But you can also run something like crit damage, as you see here, with attack percentage as well, as long as you get some attack percentage. You could try something like that if you have good crit rate. And if you're also doing the Anemo damage build, this might be the better way to go, because then you're going to get larger burst damage chunks with her. But all in all, man, I got to tell you guys that Jean is amazing, because if you pull her, you're going to have a healer, a utility support, someone who can be built for burst, someone who can be built for sustained damage, is physical build too. There's a lot of ways you could build her. We even really go over the physical build damage, but there's a lot of ways you can build her, and this video is getting long enough like it is. I try not to make these too crazy. I love you all. Thanks for watching this video. I'm seeing tons of YouTube channels out there blowing up, going from like my size to hundreds of thousands of subs, and that's crazy because it took me a year and a half to get where I am, and I do multiple videos a day. I do everything I can. So help me out with a sub if you would like to see the channel grow. I appreciate that. I love you all, and I'll see you on the next video.